Hey guys,
Hi, I'm Stefanie Campbell.
and I'm Kelly Dugan.
Whether you're buying, selling, or just curious on the ins and outs of the real estate world, you've come to the right place.
What are we going to talk about on this podcast?
Everything, duh.
You name it, we cover it.
Tune in weekly as we bring you insightful conversations with industry experts, success stories, horror stories, and definitely some laughs along the way.
Welcome.
Hi. Oh my gosh. Happy 2025.
We have really took quite the break from
We
the
took
pod.
Such a break, and we did a lot of reflection time and thinking and had a lot of chaos.
Yes. Well, I mean, this marks episode 31 of Realtor Talk with Steph and Kel. We have a little bit of news. We might be rebranding.
I think we are. This has been a evolving project. It's been a long road, an exciting road, and I think we've kind of like began to find our niche a little bit through the process.
Because I think the way we started this podcast was mainly to benefit clients with, how-tos or, information on what as is or your home inspection and everything like that. And we will still continue to do that. However, what I feel like is a better idea, I think a lot of realtors listen to our podcast.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of realizing.
I've gotten a lot of messages from realtors that they love listening, and it might have to do with the fact that I tend to use this as a therapy session.
Ding, 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 ding. That's the key word.
Because this job can be a little bit insane, and it's just, a really great outlet to vent. Not to necessarily talk smack about our clients, but just to, I think that peeling back the curtain on like what it really is like day to day as a realtor is something you can't really find on your normal algorithm. And we're here to bring it to you. So it sounds like we are going to be rebranding and changing our title to Realtor Therapy with Steph and Kel.
Yeah, Realtor Therapy or Real Estate Therapy, but we think Realtor Therapy, right?
I think Realtor Therapy sounds better, and I think that it is going to target realtors. It's still going to be, it's still going to be beneficial for clients to listen in if they want. We highly encourage you to continue listening.
There's so much. If a client wants to educate themselves, like this is a great spot to do it. But we think a lot of continued listeners are going to be realtors.
Yes, because what I found is like when I'm working with my clients, at that specific time, they'll listen in because they're very invested in their home sale or the buying process, and then they close and they move in and they go back to normal, regular life that has nothing to do with real estate, and they kind of fall off. So I really do think that our audience is mainly realtors, and the goal down the line is to provide resources for realtors too, like, basic like listing meetings and, what to look for on showings and like stuff that could just be very applicable, especially if you're a new agent, a seasoned agent. And also, you want to know another thing I thought about, Steph?
Tell me,
I think
Kelly.
it'd be cool to have, which I know we kind of have this now, but like a forum that people can write in if they're like dealing with a crazy client or if they're dealing with something.
We have so many good ideas spun off this idea.
Yes.
And
because I think that'd be fun to be like, okay, Joe from Alabama is dealing with crazy Mary. And like, just because truthfully, when you're not on a team, I can't imagine this business not being on a team because it can be very lonely. You don't really, have people, if you're not on a team, you don't have people to have that like outlet or that advice, especially if you don't have like a supporting brokerage that you're with.
it is so funny. I just hung up. Shout out Brandon and Peary. What's up? Such a nice man. I just hung up with him. We were kind of laughing because they were one of my very early clients. Like I listed their home. It was one of my first big deals. And we were just saying that if I didn't have Kaylin back in 2015 to help me with that sale, I think that would have been a very questionable experience. So I think that's super important to people especially starting out, they don't know what they don't know. There is a Rolodex in this brain of all these crazy experiences that we have had that help us make decisions in everyday transactions.
And even like to this day, I mean, even just reflecting back on 2024, I learned so much, and I'll bring that into 2025.
Every day is a learning experience.
Every single day is. And so, but yeah, so that's kind of our little intro there.
That's where we're headed, guys.
If
Big
you're
things.
If you're a realtor and you're excited about this, let us know, and maybe follow the link and give us something, to stem off of if you have a crazy client you're dealing with. We actually, Stefanie had quite the ride in December. I actually felt very bad for her. I was on the phone with her. We were on the phone like Friday, Saturday night to like 10, 11 at night, just like.
I cried. Yeah. I cried. Well, first of all, I want to say, and I don't think I'm the only realtor that said something similar, but this is one of the busiest Decembers I can ever remember in my career. Okay.
Very busy. I have 6 closings in January, so that goes to show how busy my December was.
It was a wild ride. So many questionable people. So many questionable things. I can't believe how it was treated by a lot of people. It was depressing. I cried. We sometimes like to say we have that quarterly cry. Sometimes you just have had enough is enough, and you're like a little teapot that overboils, and you're like, okay, I need to release. Yeah. Because it was crazy.
Another thing I was thinking about the other day, what I'm learning as I'm getting busier and just, more established as an agent is it's really hard because you get knowledge and you learn things along the way. So in that sense, things are easier, right? Like my listing process is not as hard as it may have been in the beginning because I've done it so many times, and with experience, it's easier. But in my opinion, as a realtor, one of the hardest things is handling multiple scenarios and situations all at one time. Like that's a really big thing for me. Like you can have drama, like dumpster fires. Like what if like 4 of your deals there's drama, like there's a certain story and a certain situation with every single home sale, home buying, and that is one really hard thing I've realized as a realtor is honestly juggling multiple at the same time.
Yeah, I don't even find probably because my ADD brain, like the jumping around is not what bothers me. It's I have a really hard time dealing, like, and again, some days I feel like Teflon and anybody can say anything to me and I'm like,
whatever.
Who cares? You're crazy. But sometimes every once in a while, a person treats me so poorly that I'm like, you know what? I can't wait for the day when I can be like, hey, you know what? You're fired.
I know. Do you think we'll ever get to that point? Because I don't know. I say that all the time. Like, okay, I can't wait to one day be so busy and so established that I could turn down clients or fire clients. And I just feel like with mine and yours personality, I
know I hate losing. I just hate it. I am so like, no, I am committed. I'm going to follow this through. And I mean, they don't deserve my kindness. But I get committed to the commitment, and I am like one of those people, and maybe my mom did this to me, but I remember even when I was little, and like, let's say you make plans with a girlfriend and then a more fun plan comes along and you're like, no, I want to do that one. I always stick with my original commitment. I am like a committed. If I say I'm going to do something, and even me, like if I say I'm going to go to a party, I'm going.
Yeah, no. And I'm more so of like, I will say, if I commit to something, I'm doing it. And even my girlfriends know this. If I'm wishy-washy, if it's like I'm going to play it by ear or like, we'll see.
You're not going.
I'm not going. Yeah. But I am good with like, if I commit, it's happening. But yeah, so yeah, what else? Tell us what happened with your.
I'll give you one scenario. Some of these scenarios I want to wait till it's a little further fast, like I like to wait till closing. One of these people we started communication to look for a home 3 years ago. And looking for something very specific. It's been like an interesting road.
They entertained building for a minute. Like they really entertained all options. And even that was a little bit of.
Yeah. There was, it was a lot of questionable actions. And
I felt like, let me just say because I know everything that happened with that situation. I felt like they a little bit just felt like they could just use you at their
To open the
disposal
door, yeah.
to open the door. And yeah, they just wanted you to open the door. Like that was it. And that was like how they looked at you at first. And they
Probably.
tried to do things on their own a couple times that epically failed. And I don't feel like they really valued or appreciated you from the start, but that was just me. But yeah, so that was 3 years ago. Continue.
So anyway, finally find the house. It's the one, all the things, like all the feelings, this and that. And, the other realtor.
There's multiple offers, right?
Yeah. So we won it in multiple offers, and there's so many details that I want to give leading up to the moment. But we won it in multiple offers. We fought like hell to get it. It was a very stressful thing.
Really quick pause, Stefanie. Also, they had a house to sell that Stefanie had already hired professional photography to do.
Yeah.
Had some marketing dollars spent on that other end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So continue.
Mm-hmm. And also, when the realtor put it under contract, the other realtor, they put in the remarks like accepting backup offers. Okay. That upset the buyer, and the buyer was very offended. Okay. We then had to ask, meaning I had to then ask the other realtor, hey, could you please take down the accepting other backup offers? Buyer's upset, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, it's just because they're so upset because they love the house so much. They don't want somebody else to get it. Like, it's a big to-do. They don't want to have any kind of stress over this.
And I even heard Stefanie on speakerphone talking to these clients, and they were so committed to this house. Like, it was like they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to add my own little pointers in here.
Yeah. First day of my vacation with my family, I get a phone call. We're wrapping up attorney review. So they waited until like literally the minute attorney review is supposed to be wrapped up. And they called me and said they're canceling the contract. The buyer's canceling the contract.
No inspection issues.
Yeah, I mean,
there was radon, but
radon came
everywhere.
back at like, I don't know if it was 4 or 4.6, but it was low. And I had explained this to them ad nauseum that radon's in almost, I mean, how much, what's the percentage? 50%?
I would say even more. My client had a level 59 come back, the highest I've ever seen.
59 now is my highest. I think it was like 29,
This
39.
was in Shanahan, and the sellers did mitigation, and then it came back at like a level 2. Perfect. Boom,
okay,
done.
See, I mean, it's like no big deal. Every house has it. But that was really the only like thing, and everything else would have been worked out. The sellers seemed pretty agreeable. They were gonna come and meet with the client. Even it was like all rainbows and sunshine. And so, they decided to cancel. They also told me that this process of selling, of buying another home, made them realize that they don't want to sell, that they want to stay in their house.
But why though?
And this is just what I want to say is like, I saw that thing I shared the other day about people are always coming after commissions and this, that, and the other.
Yep.
The amount of time, like I spent real hard dollars, obviously, on them, like the photo shoot and, just the gas and all that. But like my most valuable asset, being that I'm busy,
you're a mom,
and I have a family, is my time. I can't get my time back. That is time I could have spent with my family. That is time I could have spent building my business. That is time I could have spent with other clients that need me. And I just think that should be a PSA that people shouldn't go down this road and drag a realtor through it.
Yeah.
Without being certain that that's something you want to commit to.
And we get it that plans change and things change, but that's a little obnoxious for them. Like, I mean, this has been how long? And from my knowledge, they weren't really that empathetic about it at all. It was kind of like,
no, I think she felt bad. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt,
but
I just don't think it makes any of it right. You know what I mean? And to be honest, I feel bad for the sellers. And I mean, to think that we had the audacity to get worked up and ask that other realtor to take that comment down, and then they cancel. Mm-hmm. I'm like, whoa.
It is the time thing is so huge. I was actually just thinking about this because one thing I'm kind of a little bit struggling with currently right now is I have these clients who are out of state, who called me from a past sale of mine, and they, did a little bit of research on me, and they wanted to hire me as their agent, and they're moving from, out of state, and they're not very well versed with all of the suburbs of Chicago, which is where they want to move. So originally when they called me, they were targeting, right in my areas, like Lincoln White District, Naperville, even Bolingbrook, like Lisle, like all my familiar, places. And as we're seeing things, and so, we met, we Zoom called, and they signed the buyer broker agreement. All was great there. And they're lovely people. But this is just an example of what you can run into as a realtor. So as they started, looking at the map and researching other suburbs of Chicago, their search got broader and broader and broader. And before you know it, they're like asking me to show them houses in Skokie, which is over an hour away from where I live. And it's so hard because it's like, okay, if they want to see houses in Mokina, that's, right in my backyard, but they also want to go see houses in Skokie. Like we don't really have any team members up there. And also it's tough because I've already taken them on, because they're only in town.
We have Jackie up there. But.
Well, we have Jackie up there, but they're only in town, like maybe let's say like one day of the week. They're, they have family that kind of lives around here and they'll fly in. So we obviously try to cram all of these showings in on that day. So far I've had 3 full-blown 8-hour days of showings, and they're anywhere between like 6 and 9 houses, but like starting super, super, super north and working our way down. And I was thinking on the way home from last time, I'm like, if they don't end up buying, which I do think they are going to, and they seem committed to me and all is great, but like this is nothing but volunteer work from me, like literally showing you these houses. And if they don't end up buying with me, and I just wonder, do clients think about that? Like they know. Sometimes I wonder, do they think we're salary and we're getting paid by our brokerage? Like we are
think
literally.
There's a lot of confusion about how we get paid, and
we do not get paid until you close.
I add that into my buyer and seller presentations. That let me explain to you how we get paid, because there's just so much. The expense of this job is so high, like the risk reward situation.
Yes, 100%.
Every deal is so much risks, and like a lot of times you don't get a reward.
Yes, there's just a lot of time wasted. But I mean, essentially, yeah, like and think about it this way, if you're anyone out there who has ever been on showings with a realtor and you didn't end up closing or buying something with that realtor, that was volunteer work. Like they took the time to, I would hope, shower, get ready, look presentable, do a little bit of research on the properties that you're seeing that day, meet you there. And, if you're interested in it, they're going to go home and they're going to send you comps on that. And they're going to take all of this time, all for you to be like, oh yeah, no, never mind. Or if you want to see something that is not, this is one of my biggest pet peeves. They are so adamant about, 3 bedrooms or 2 full bathrooms. And then they'll see a house that has 2 bedrooms, no basement, no storage. I could see that there's no laundry room, and I just see all of these big red flags that I know is not going to fit what they're looking for, because they have a family and they want all these things. Or there's no garage, and they're like, oh, well, maybe we can add a garage. Well, are you really going to add a garage to a house that's at your max budget? If your max budget is $700,000 and you're like, let's go see this house listed at $699, and I point out all of these things that it doesn't have that you originally wanted, and when their response is, well, we'll see it like what it's like, and like I think we can add a garage, and we'll take down that wall and add a second bathroom, and it's like, no, you're not at your max budget. Like, no, you're not. And then we see it, lo and behold. Okay.
Did you? And this is again to my own self, and this is top of my mind because tomorrow morning Paul's interviewing me for that thing. Did you have a buyer meeting with them?
Yeah, so we Zoom called.
Fudge.
And that's the thing. It's like,
I was going to say, you know what I did not do with
those people? You didn't have a buyer meeting? And those always will take the longest.
I'm telling you, for every realtor out there, and I think, again, I'm kind of excited to gear this podcast a little bit to realtors, because like there's so many tips and tricks that we could give to help realtors be successful in this business.
Yes.
And
it's honestly good for buyers too. Like buyers who are listening, like we're not trying to discourage you by being like, and put you in a box of only seeing this properties. I get it. Sometimes you don't realize what you want until maybe it's right in front of you. But we've just been down this road so many times. And when you point out things about a property, or when you make things very clear about something that they want or something that they want to see, for you to take time to go and see it, all for it to be like, yeah, they don't have... Yeah, no, the garage and the no laundry room and all, that's going to be a deal breaker. And I'm just like, Yeah, thanks.
It's just really
We
not
know.
that. It's really not that hard to be courteous.
And buyers, why do you want, like, sometimes I've had clients, my favorite clients ever are ones that if we walk into a house and they know instantly they're not going to like it and they're like, yeah, let's go. And we just literally turn around and leave. And then there's the buyers who know they hate it, but they just find it interesting. And they want to like spend a half hour there and be like, wow, look at this. And I'm all about it. I see houses all the time. If I see something cool and interesting that would make a good Instagram story, great. But for the most part, like I'm here for business, and you should be too. Like you should be serious about how you spend your time. Like when you look at houses on Zenlist and everything like that, scroll through the pictures, look at the room dimensions, see if they have what your must-haves are. Because when you just see an exterior and a price point and then they just send away and it's like, did you even look at this?
Can I also add a disclaimer is that we say this, and I do think that there's a lot of opportunities missed as well. Like, for instance, my clients today that are my good friends and are freaking awesome people and I love them and I'm just like, oh, I needed this good positive energy. Lauren and Kyle, I love you. It's funny because they're buying this property in Lamont. We just went under contract yesterday and the inspection was today. Lauren found the property and Kyle kind of like dismissed it because it looked like we were joking, it looks like a grandma house.
Okay.
And then like Lauren had it in her saved files. We were trying to look at other areas we should go to, and I found it in Lauren's saved files and I was like, why don't we go to this one? Like, and Lauren and I kind of like, yeah, I mean, it probably has potential, this and that. Like, let's check it out. And it's funny. They love the house. It's the one they're buying. They're so excited to make updates. We met a contractor and there's so much potential. Like they would have easily dismissed this house.
Overlooked that.
You know what I mean? But it checked so many boxes.
And that's my point.
So I want to just say, like, PSA, be logical. It's
100%.
not that difficult. In this job, it is so easy to get wrapped up in the emotion. And maybe that's what we need to label this episode. Don't get wrapped up in emotion and remain calm and logical.
Yes, and know your price and know all of the things. Yes.
Even me. Like,
yeah, I know. Yeah, we have big news.
We have another big news moment. And I'm like scared to I have to go put my earnest money down because I'm
Stefanie bought a lot.
I bought a lot. And so.
You want to know what I'm most excited for?
No, don't say it.
Our podcast studio that you're going to build us.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I could do that. But I'm saying.
What do you think I was going to say?
I thought you were talking about selling my house.
Because that too.
Talk about, I'm going to have to take off my emotional hat like this.
We'll see if that happens.
I already said Kelly's going to have to help me with it because I'm going to be a crazed animal. I'm going to have to listen to her professional advice, shut my mouth, and just let it be. Because somebody's going to come
I'm going to get on here and vent about Stefanie.
I'm sure you are. But like, this is advice for myself. Like, this is an emotional process. Remove your emotion, remain logical. And we are not your punching bag. You know
I know.
what I mean? Like,
I've actually said that one time, like a client was so mad about something and it was very clear it wasn't my fault or really anyone's. And they were just going at it. And then they apologized. And literally my response was, that's okay. I'm used to being the punching bag. And it made them feel so bad. Like,
maybe I'm going to say that to a couple people.
Yeah, like just let them go.
I did get a big apology this morning from somebody too, because they always are like venting. Like they were screaming at me on the phone one day. Like it was like 10. This is another reason I cried in December. Friday night, 10 o'clock at night, wife flying off the handle because of something that is out of my control and something that she did not understand about real estate. And
can we just sum that up? Stefanie had a client interested in her own listing. And when
I don't want to. I'm not ready for it.
Okay.
It's
whatever. I guess
I will totally go over this at a later date, but
I just don't think that these people that we are talking about are tuning into our podcast. They're not exactly the springiest chickens. So
they're probably not, but it's just, it was not right. It was not right. It's crazy. But we'll save that for another episode because it's a juicy topic. We're reaching kind of our end in here anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, basically to sum it up, we are going to be rebranding to Realtor Therapy, and this is where we're going to bring our problems and just dump them. But we're going to talk them out at the same time, and we're going to take away
Oh my gosh, wouldn't it be
Because really the point of therapy stuff, honestly, is we talk out our problems and we come up with like we're supposed to leave feeling better about it, you know, like a solution. Solutions. So what's our solution?
So solutions are, I think honestly, the solution to deal with emotional people is to remain calm.
And be just a level-headed one in the mix. Don't get caught up in the drama and the emotions with them. Like, you just kind of have to listen
100%.
and then get back to...
As a realtor, it is your job to keep them calm and be the rational, level-headed person in the chaos. When we're on a deal and one of the partners is being crazy, it only makes things 1,000 times worse if the realtor becomes crazy. Then it's like, well, who am I supposed to talk to? Who am I supposed to deal with here? Because you're nuts too.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Anyway, but lots of fun stuff and topics ahead. I mean, so it'll be fun to even answer realtor questions.
I know. I'm excited about that.
know.
Like, I want to know what you guys are dealing with out there. Are me and Stefanie crazy for like constantly feeling like we're losing our marbles? I mean, every single day I feel like her and I have something
we
to kind
thank
of...
God for each other. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah, something to kind of complain about. And like, I'll give a plug to my clients who give me
that's
zero
what I mean.
reason to complain.
We're not going to sit here and it's literally, this is life, right?
Yeah.
You don't sit here and chit chat about all the freaking awesome people. It's the thorns in your side.
Yes. Like right now, I have 3 closings on Friday, and all of them, shout out to Haley, Frankie, Bridget, and Eric. Love you guys so much. Bridget and Eric have 2 closings, so that's why I didn't name another client. But love them. They've been phenomenal. They've made my winter so nice, and they are just...
See, while you were
wonderful
while you were
people.
just skating by, I was getting freaking beat up over here.
Okay, yeah, but then
you know what? And
I'm touring the Voyage of America.
Wait a minute. I literally thought this in my head because Kelly was like complaining about all these crazy clients. And remember, I was kind of like, oh, I'm fine.
We're never on the same wavelength.
I know.
I'm usually cruising and Stephanie's crying, or I'm crying and she's cruising.
It's
just
so funny.
But it may be just because God knows that like we can't be crying at the same time.
It's
We need
probably
we need each other for the emotional support.
It's probably so. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, lots of laughs ahead. Thanks for listening. And we're excited about the new chapter.
We are. We have some revamping to do with all of our stuff. But if you're a realtor and you're listening in and you have something to say, please do not hesitate.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening.
Tune in weekly for new episodes.
Follow the link in the show notes to answer our survey and have your topics talked about on Realtor Talk with Steph and Kel. Thanks for listening. Until next time. Bye. Ciao.